Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my Scorpio September 2018 horoscope forecast. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the Sun, Moon, and Ascendant. Anyway, first thing up is as far as September goes, the Sun will be in Virgo from the 1st until the 22nd. So the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. There could be a strong concentration of energy, focus and attention on friends, acquaintances, aspirations, the future, goals, stepchildren if applicable, groups, clubs, organizations. And this could be done with a lot of Virgo meticulous attention to detail, a lot of analysis, very analytical manner. Could be done in a very organized way, and it could be about organizing your own groups for something, and can be done very methodical manner, but yet critical or judgmental as well, perhaps of friends and acquaintances at this time, and even but also done in a very perfunctorily manner as well, but a little bit of worrisome and pensive energy perhaps injected in this as well. Next thing up, as far as September goes, the Sun will be in Libra from the 22nd until the 30th. So the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, there could be a strong concentration of energy, focus, attention put on restrictions, limitations, those less fortunate, such as the impoverished, the homeless, the oppressed, the hungry. It could be on self-undoing, even solitude, seclusion, private matters. In some cases, it could be mental illness if it is applicable, and hidden adversaries as well. Now, also, too, this could be done with a lot of Libra-like weighing the pros and cons, a lot of ambivalence, though, and indecision, perhaps. It could be with a lot of bouncing off ideas off others, perhaps especially those in solitude, seclusion, ones that people that are in your private life. This could be done with a lot of intellectual sociability, charm, it could be tact, diplomacy as well, and really a very equitable and fair-minded manner. And given that this is going to be in the 12th house, it could shine the light on a Libra hidden adversary. It could be a Libra Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or simply one that embodies Libra-like characteristics. So anyway, next thing up is there will be a new moon in Virgo on September 9th. So the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Well, in some cases, this could be embarking on a new Virgo friendship. Perhaps it could be a Virgo Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or simply one that embodies Virgo-like characteristics. It could be the beginning of a new Virgo-like aspiration. It could be connected with health or nutrition, perhaps. It could be something, too, it might require a lot of work as well. I mean, Virgo energy could be very workaholic energy. Could also be the beginning of a new period of analyzing your future and extrapolating data for that, making projections of where you want to be and things you want to be doing, where you think you could be in the future in your life. And also, it could be also about a new health-related goal. Perhaps it could be joining a new Virgo-like club, such as a health and fitness club, or some nutrition club, perhaps, or something that could be Virgo like. So it could be something that requires that where you do a lot of analytical work, or some kind of intellectual thing, or even something where you're involved in doing something intellectual, like something with like chess, perhaps, or something connected with analytics. So anyway, there will be a full moon in Aries on September 24th. So the 6th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, well, you may become, it could be a period where you become tired, exasperated, somewhat full, even of an acerbic, acrimonious, or combative, could be aunt or uncle, or someone prominent in your daily routine, or your work, or your health life. This could also reflect perhaps the completion or culmination of some Aries-like work. It could be something connected with firefighting, welding, or sports, some kind of combative sports, perhaps where there was some training. It could be something, connected. It could be like karate or something with the martial arts. Could have at least required a lot of work. It could be also too a period. This could also, in some cases, this could be the revelation or unveiling of an Aries-like illness or health ailment. It could be something connected with the head or the face. And also could be a time where maybe a contentious situation, perhaps with an aunt or uncle, someone in your daily routine, someone in your employment, may come to an end at this time. And it could also be revealing something regarding some sixth house type person that could be could have some kind of anger or acrimonious type behavior, revealing some kind of anger issues, perhaps. So anyway. Well, the next thing up is Mercury will be in Leo as far as September goes, from the 1st until the 6th. So the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. Well, it could be a period where you may be dominating conversations with authority figures. It could be perhaps people prominent in your career, a dominant parent. Be careful not to act like too much of a know-it-all around authority figures, especially if it's like a supervisor and you're in a subservient role, because obviously that could get you in a little bit of trouble. But it could be, and remember, as I've stated in previous videos, that Mercury is not just about communication. It could be about other things as well. And it's also, it rules siblings. So in this case, perhaps it could be Leo siblings might figure prominently in your public image, reputation, increasing your stature in life, recognition, notoriety. It could be Leo, Sun, Moon, Ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Leo-like characteristics. Could also be about really thinking creatively, which could really be beneficial perhaps to your career. It could be about creative ideas, about improving your stature in life, your social status, and also too, just really at this time, it could be just thinking very generously, so to speak, about 10th house matters at this time and speaking with authority on them as well. So anyway, next thing up, Mercury will be in Virgo as far as September goes, from the 6th until the 22nd. So the 11th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. There could be a lot of analytical, detail-oriented communication with friends, acquaintances at this time. There could be even judgmental and critical communication with them as well. You might become somewhat exasperated at slower thinking people in groups and clubs and organizations. If your friends are not keeping up at pace with you mentally, you might become a little bit aggravated at them. And there could be a possibility of overanalyzing, depending on the aspects that this is making to points in your chart. Say if this is making an adverse aspect to Jupiter, it could be where you could get a little bit of a little over analysis going on. So it's something to be careful of at this time. Now also, as I've stated before, that Mercury can also be about siblings. So it could be where Virgo siblings may play strong role in goals and aspirations at this time. And it could be too it could be Virgo, Sun, Moon, Ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Virgo-like characteristics. And at this time as well, if applicable, you might be more critical with stepchildren, with acquaintances, with friends at this time. But also perhaps you might have a lot of mental analysis going on as far as your future. And there might be some worrisome and pensive thinking going on connected with this as well, and also in thinking of extrapolating in terms of data, in terms of where you want to be in your as far as your future goes. So anyway, next thing up, Mercury will be in Libra as far as September goes, from the 22nd until the 30th. So the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time for Scorpio. You might be doing a lot of thing in terms of weighing the pros and cons in private, in solitude and seclusion, pros and cons regarding various things, and maybe just things that are connected with your private life, and for examples, who should be involved in it, who should be in it. Now, you might be at this time, you might be less loquacious than usual. And you might figure too that, again, that Mercury can be about other things in addition to communication. Could be about siblings as well. So it could be about Libra. Siblings might figure prominently in your private life, perhaps maybe in your limitations or restrictions, and maybe they might play a role perhaps in helping you with them. It could be Libra, Sun, Moon, Ascendant people, or they simply could be people that embody Libra-like characteristics. So also it could be about speaking with a lot of tact and diplomacy with those less fortunate than yourself, such as really it could be such as the oppressed, the homeless, the impoverished at this time. And also this could be about perhaps Libra siblings or even neighbors or cousins driving you crazy, figuratively speaking, at this time, since we are talking about the 12th house. So anyway, next thing up is Venus will be in Libra as far as September goes, from the 1st until the 9th. So the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. Well, could this be, if unattached, could this be a clandestine affair with a Libra, Sun, Moon, Ascendant, or one that embodies Libra-like characteristics? It's possible. But also, this could be a time, if if you're unattached, Scorpio, you might connect with a Libra, Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or one that embodies Libra-like characteristics in like a 12th house venue, such as something connected with spirituality, the metaphysical, such as astrology, or maybe meet this person at a place that you might be, with those less fortunate, such as a homeless place, or it could be something connected with maybe somebody that's a photographer, somebody that might be in a 12th house venue. Now, also, this could be about a time where a Libra love may disappear, or it might be about, you might be more inclined to suppress feelings regarding love at this time. And it might be time too where you might be succumb to some financial restrictions and limitations at this time. It might be attributed to Libra-like expenditures, such as some kind of attorney fees or something connected with the legal matter at this time. And also, at this time, it could be about balanced spending on those less fortunate than yourself, such as those that are impoverished, homeless, or hungry, or the oppressed. And also, too, this could be a time too where you look at this. It might be a little bit harder to express your feelings, and maybe more suppressed than usual at this time. So anyway. Next thing up is Venus will be in Scorpio as far as September goes, from the 9th until the 30th. So the first house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, you might be more inclined to want to be more attractive than usual, perhaps wearing sexy, provocative outfits, and especially if this is actually hitting the first house in one's natal chart. Now, also, you might come into, at this time, if you're unattached Scorpio, you may come into contact with a Scorpio, a Sun, Moon, or Ascendant person, or someone that embodies Scorpio-like characteristics and might figure prominently in your new beginnings, someone maybe you knew from your early childhood, perhaps. And also, too, this could be a time, too, where you might spend more money on self, but be very secretive regarding it. And it could be on really fortuitous for making money, doing something Scorpio-like. Because you're talking about the first house and money. It could be something Scorpio-related matters, such as recycling, rebuilding, something astrology, the occult, or something with embalming, locksmith work, perhaps at this time. And anyway, it might be a little bit more of a sweet tooth than usual at this time. It might be some kind of dark, succulent Scorpio-like food you might be really indulging in more at this time. And be careful too about that, because Jupiter is also in Scorpio, and that emphasizes, of course, the first house for you. So anyway, next thing up is, as far as September goes, Mars will be in Capricorn from the 1st until the 10th. So the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. You may have a lot more abundance of mental and physical energy at this time. You might be more inclined to arguments with siblings, with neighbors, with cousins. It may be over responsibilities, the government, politics. And these people and siblings, cousins, neighbors might be, the situation with them might be a little bit more acrimonious and contentious than usual. This could be a time too where you might get involved, say, with a sexual interlude, perhaps with a Capricorn sun, moon, or ascendant, or simply one that embodies Capricorn-like characteristics in your neighborhood. Or it could be somebody that you meet through short journeys, perhaps, or maybe someone you knew from your early education. Now, also, this can manifest perhaps in putting a lot of consistent, disciplined, serious energy into third house matters, into your communications. But there might be a little greater propensity for accidents than usual at this time. But having this in prudent Capricorn, it can modify this and help things out as far as accidents go. Anyway, well, as far as September goes, Mars will be in Aquarius from the 10th until the 30th. So the fourth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. Well, you might be experiencing more angry, you might be becoming more angry at idiosyncratic, bizarre, unusual, unpredictable behavior from family members, people you're close to home with, someone in your home. It could also be about perhaps injecting a lot of selfless humanitarian energy into your into things that you feel close to home with, perhaps, or with people you're close to home with home and family members, the less dominant parent, which is often the mother. But also putting it could be putting a lot of sporadic, erratic energy into your traditions, and also too a lot of vitality and energy may be going into Aquarius-like things, perhaps in your home, such as astrology, astronomy, computers, electronics, innovation. Even there might be unusual accidents, more inclined to that as far as at home at this time as well. And also too, it's also about putting, I mean, this is about getting, the fourth house is also about your roots. So you might be putting a lot of energy into really new and unique foundations and initiating that. So anyway, next thing up is, as far as, Jupiter will be in Scorpio still. And the first house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. Well, as I've talked about previously, Jupiter can be paradoxical. It's very benign and benevolent, but it could also have a tendency to enlarge and expand. And this could increase surreptitious, nefarious activity, perhaps with someone you knew from your early childhood. Perhaps this could also be, and maybe even in yourself in some isolated cases, but really a lot of this could be about, sadly, a propensity for weight gain at this time too. And you might be more jocular and jovial than usual at this time, but more subtle, sarcastic humor, given this is Scorpio energy. And also, another way this can manifest, perhaps, is showing a lot of exuberance and enthusiasm into making a transformation of the physical body. It can be very fortuitous for this, especially if this is actually the actual first house in one's natal chart. And really it could be very positive for making new beginnings at this time. It could be something Scorpio related, such as something connected with the occult, astrology, supernatural, locksmithing, embalming, working as a coroner, doing something with recycling. Anyway, next thing up. Saturn will still be in Capricorn, so the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. Well, this could be a period for you, Scorpio, where you may be dealing with a lot of restrictions and limitations in your communications. It might be making you feel somewhat despondent and melancholy. You may be taking care of a debilitated or sickly sibling, neighbor, a cousin. It might be someone you know well through your short journeys or from your early education. It could be over something Capricorn related, such as something with the knees, the bones, or the joints. And also, this could manifest perhaps in taking serious responsibility to your communications. Older people may figure strongly and prominent in your communications at this time, and things you might be learning or information you're assimilating, I should say. And also about it could be about some difficulties you might be dealing with as far as transportation goes at this time, and limitations and restriction but connected with this. But at the same time, this can manifest in more structure and discipline in your communications in this period. So anyway, well, the next thing up is Uranus will still be in Taurus, so the seventh house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. This could manifest perhaps in the formulation of new financial ideas at this time, connected with a business partner. You might be seeing a grandmother, a significant other, your others in general, showing some unusual, stubborn behavior. Taurus friendships might figure more prominently in terms of legal battles at this time. May be helpful toward you in terms of dealing with open adversaries, might actually become one. This could be actual Taurus Sun, Moon, Ascendant people, or simply ones that embody Taurus-like characteristics. You might be dealing with unanticipated lawsuits. It could also be that you might be dealing with Uranus like open adversaries. It could be people that are in astrology, astronomy, innovators, computers, electronics. And you, at this time, if you're unattached, Scorpio, you actually might marry a foreigner at this time. It could be someone of another country. So anyway, hold on a second, people. Sorry about that. Next thing up, Neptune will be in Pisces still. So the fifth house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. Unfortunately, you might be dealing with some deception and duplicity connected with lovers, romantic partners, children perhaps. It could even be people that you may know that you might share some kind of hobby or thing of amusement with. It's also danger of deluding oneself in matters connected with speculation. So it's important not to get too high or too gung-ho, so to speak, on or too upbeat or optimistic on things of a speculative nature, such as some investment thing or what have you. And also too, this could also manifest in some cases in dissipation and dissolving of perhaps relationship with children, with lovers, maybe of your fun, your amusement, your enjoyment at this time, even personal popularity. And be careful. I mean, it could be a time where children or even lovers might be more into perhaps connected with drugs or alcohol at this time. And they might also appear somewhat nebulous and unclear as well. And but at the same time, you might be picking up maybe a Neptune-like hobby at this time. It could be something like chemistry, photography, dancing, poetry, something with the metaphysical, which includes astrology, something with spirituality. So anyway, next thing up is Pluto will be in Capricorn still. So the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. I know a lot of you don't want me to say the dreaded D word, but you know I'm going to do it anyway. In some cases, this could actually be a literal death you might experience of a neighbor, of a sibling, or a cousin, or maybe even someone you knew in your early education. Some cases this could be about the transformation of some speech, and maybe in some cases where you might have to use some kind of assistance for communication. As an example, maybe you use a voice transformer just to mess with some people. I'm only joking, of course, but anyway, it might be. This could also manifest in power struggles with siblings, with neighbors, cousins, manipulation connected with them, and also trying to maybe dominate these people or vice versa as well. So it's important to be careful as far as this goes. You might be experiencing in some cases where you feel there's some strong government control in what you're saying at this time. And also, I mean, you're talking about Pluto can often be about, I mean, obliteration and destruction. It could be something connected with your transportation situation. It could be, for example, maybe your car gets out of commission. Maybe you have to do, something different in terms of transporting yourself for a while. But remember, when something is obliterated, connected with Pluto, I mean, something often can supplant or replace it. So anyway, because Pluto is about regeneration and rebirth. Anyway, next thing up is the North Node will be in Leo still. So the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. When we're talking about the North Node in transit, this could often manifest in issues one may have to confront or address. This could be having to perhaps confront perhaps a dominant parent, authority figure, someone prominent in your career that might be rather arrogant, domineering, bombastic, overbearing, flamboyant. It could be something too where at this time you might be directed, toward perhaps receiving, really trying to get recognition and attention and be lauded and praised for your career achievements. And in doing so, I mean, wanting to become and maybe be really also it may be about too having to be more extravagant, perhaps in order to maybe get more notoriety and recognition. Sometimes spending more money to promote yourself at this time, such as, promoting things like, say, on Facebook that are associated with you. This could be something too where you might be, driven or directed toward being more generous and magnanimous in connection with the dominant parent, with authority figures, with people that you know in your career as well at this time. And also maybe doing something Leo related as far as career matters go. Could be something connected with the entertainment, theater, acting, doing acting or working as an actress, film production. It could be something doing some with children, cardiology, something that could be Leo related. So anyway, and also taking pride and dignity in your reputation and public image. Next thing up, Black Moon Lilith will be in Aquarius still, so the 4th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted at this time. This could manifest in some case. The Black Moon Lilith could be about what may put one in a strong state of fear and trepidation. In some cases, this could be about relinquishing freedom and independence in the home and the family life, or simply having an overly orthodox or monotonous home in family life, and in a situation with people you're close, in perhaps activities with people that you are close to home with. Now at this time too, it's possible you could be seeing a family member, a less dominant parent, often the mother, someone close to home with, might be exhibiting some kind of bizarre, unusual, or idiosyncratic behavior. And also, too, the way this could manifest, this could be about the unveiling and revelation of something very unusual, bizarre regarding your roots and ancestry at this time. And as far as, we're talking about the Black Moon Lilith, this could be something that comes out of the bag, so to speak, that you didn't want to come out of the bag, but for whatever reason it just happens to do so. This could be about something maybe bizarre, unusual regarding your home life, your family life. It could be some kind of traditions that you didn't want to come out that were a little bit unorthodox or unusual at this time, something with your roots or your ancestry you didn't want people to know about. So anyway, well, next thing up is Chiron will be in Aries as far as September goes, from the 1st until the 26th. So the 6th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So we're talking about the 6th house of health. In some cases, this could manifest in literal injuries to the head and to the face, dealing with headaches. Work, employment life could be a big headache for you at this time. And also, too, I mean, this could be a time where you might be doing some going through some kind of suffering, maybe some physical suffering in some cases, not just emotional, but there could be physical suffering due to maybe greater propensity for accidents at work, and especially depending on negative adverse transit, this making an adverse aspect to your natal Uranus, for example. That could be an indicator there where there'd be a greater propensity for some kind of unpredictable accident that could take place at work due to some kind of impetuous or impulsive moving. And so also too, it could be a time too where you might be going through some emotional suffering due to lack of enterprise and initiative in health and work related matters where you could have maybe been of service to others and you didn't do so, and you face some kind of repercussions from someone maybe because of that. It could be something where you might be going through some emotional suffering and wounds, maybe due to some kind of contentious or combative situation in your daily routine. Someone in your daily routine, it could be someone prominent in your health or your work life, as well as in some cases it could be an aunt or an uncle. But remember that Chiron is the wounded healer, so in the ways that you might be going through some difficulties and suffering in connection with Chiron and Aries and in the 6th house, you could help others out with comparable situations, and do so with a lot of Aries like enterprise, initiative, courage, fortitude, and assertiveness. Last but not least, Chiron will be in Pisces as far as September goes, from the 26th until the 30th. So the 5th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time, you could be going through some emotional suffering and wounds connected perhaps with deceptive, duplicitous behavior from a child, from a lover at this time. One of these people may become involved with alcohol or drugs as well. It could be about being deceived or maybe deluding oneself in some kind of thing of a speculative nature, such as some kind of investment, not seeing the fine print or glossing over details. It could also be about maybe being overly passive, overly relaxed, and just indulging too much in fun, amusement, and enjoyment, and letting perhaps, for example, responsibilities really get perhaps thrown under the rug, figuratively speaking, and facing repercussions because of that. Now also, and it could also be some emotional suffering wounds due to maybe dissipation or dissolving of one's personal popularity, and you might also feel like maybe your fun, amusement, or your enjoyment is dissipating, or you feel like it's dissolving, and also maybe it might be trouble getting your footing in love, so to speak. Make a little joke because footing, feet is associated with the zodiac sign Pisces. So anyway, Anyway, remember that, again, Chiron is the wounded healer, so in ways that you might be going through some struggling, some suffering in connection with Chiron and Pisces and the 5th house, you could perhaps help others out dealing with comparable situations, and do so with a lot of Pisces like empathy, compassion, and idealism and self-sacrifice. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my Scorpio September 2018 horoscope forecast. Stay tuned next time where I'll be giving you my Sagittarius September 2018 horoscope forecast. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart, and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.